Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. 2 weeks of the NBA season has gone by. The Bucks have played 6 games, they've gone 4-2, and I'm just going to give my thoughts and analysis on every game and give some key points about the Milwaukee Bucks this season. So let's get into the video. I'm going to start off with the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Washington Wizards for the opening night for the Milwaukee Bucks. But the first thing I want to address is the fact that Chris Middleton returned back to the Milwaukee Bucks, and this was a beautiful and emotional moment. Chris Middleton, he's a legend of this franchise, helped this franchise win their second championship and was a major part of that. He's going to get his jersey retired, just an absolute legend. And the fact that he balled out against the Milwaukee Bucks, it just makes it even more legendary. He played a brilliant game, and all in all, it was just a really good night for Bucks fans. Now moving on to how the Milwaukee Bucks played against the Washington Wizards. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Kevin Porter Jr. I thought he was brilliant. He was getting downhill, he was playmaking, he was scoring. He gave Milwaukee Bucks that edge in that first quarter, and he was Milwaukee Bucks' best player in that first quarter. However, some unfortunate news came where Kevin Porter Jr. had an ankle sprain and was out for the rest of the game. But if that version of Kevin Porter Jr. shows up the whole year, I can guarantee you that the Milwaukee Bucks will achieve great success this season. That was brilliant basketball from him, and hopefully he can recover as soon as possible. And all in all, I thought the starting five was great. From Kevin Porter Jr., AJ Green, Gary Trent, Giannis, Turner, they were moving the ball, they were generating so many open looks, they were hyper efficient from three. Some great basketball was being played, everybody was moving, the Bucks looked really sharp. And I thought the defense was really good as well. Everybody was connected. Miles Turner, he was the anchor of that defense, blocking shots left, right and center. Everybody was focused and locked in. I thought Gary Trent was great, I thought AJ Green was great. I thought all in all, that first half defense was really good, and overall, I thought the first half was brilliant from the Milwaukee Bucks. We were so sharp so early on, and we were just shooting the heck out of the ball. It was just so beautiful to watch, and that first half, what a start of the season it was. However, the Milwaukee Bucks went back to their usual tendencies and had a really sloppy third quarter, making poor decisions, turning the ball over, forcing bad shots, and the Washington Wizards came back into the game. However, Giannis Antetokounmpo was Giannis Antetokounmpo. He carried the Milwaukee Bucks during this bad stretch, was finishing at the rim like no other, and just carried the Bucks and kept their lead afloat. In terms of the bench, I thought Kyle Kuzma was decent. Defensively, it looks like he's really focusing on that side of his game. He looks very engaged. He understands his role. Doc Rivers knows that Kyle Kuzma, in terms of perimeter defense, he offers you a lot of size that the rest of the team does not offer. For a 6'9" guy, he moves well laterally, got good foot speed and can stay in front of his man. And if Kyle Kuzma really locks into defense, he can be a valuable piece to this team. And he showed why he can be valuable in this game. I thought Ryan Rollins offensively, he was a bit poor. Made some weird decisions in terms of his playmaking. The shot wasn't falling, but his defense was excellent. Getting into passing lanes, full court pressure, forcing mistakes out of the ball handlers. Ryan Rollins is just going to play elite defense throughout the entire year. This is normal for him. So I thought his defense was excellent, even though his offense wasn't fully there. I thought Cole Anthony on his debut was good. He provided much needed scoring and he provided pace to the offense. I thought Prince was good as well. Prince defensively is always going to be poor at times, but he made some nice pocket passes. He was leaking out in transition. There was one dunk that was brilliant to see. He was shooting really well from three. I thought Prince, all in all, had a good game. However, there was one really bad player today against the Wizards. Not today, I meant when the Milwaukee Bucks played the Wizards. That was Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis did not fit this team at all in this game. Slowed the offense down, tried to get into the post too much. The shot wasn't falling, the defense was poor. He just was not good against the Washington Wizards. But overall, I thought this was a great first game from the Milwaukee Bucks. I understand that it's the Washington Wizards, one of the worst teams in the NBA, but they play fast. They got a lot of good young talent. Chris Middleton was killing. Alex Sarr is a good rim protector. They still pose challenges, and I thought the Milwaukee Bucks dealt with them quite comfortably. So very solid first win for the Milwaukee Bucks. The next game I'm going to be talking about is the Bucks versus the Raptors. In terms of the Bucks' performance against the Toronto Raptors, I thought Toronto played some really good defense. It was a playoff type defense with full court press and they were playing with physicality. But I thought the Milwaukee Bucks matched that and responded really well to the Toronto Raptors defense. Giannis Antetokounmpo was Giannis Antetokounmpo. 31, 20 and 7. Just a generational player, and with the defense that Toronto played, the fact that he dropped this type of stat line truly shows how much of a special player he is. I thought Miles Turner, offensively, this wasn't his best game, but defensively, he was everywhere. You could really feel his impact. He was on the level of the screen. He was protecting the rim. He was blocking shots. He was altering shots. It was a very complete performance from Miles Turner defensively. One query from him is that stop pump faking all the time. If you have a good look from three, shoot it because he's good enough to shoot those threes. And for me, my man of the night was Cole Anthony. I thought he took over the game from the start to the end. First of all, let's talk about some of his playmaking. Some of the reads, skip passes that he was making was incredible, and he was generating so many good looks for his teammates, and his scoring was sensational. It was one of the most complete scoring performances I've ever seen from Cole Anthony. He was scoring on every level. Some of the athletic finishes he was doing were just incredible, and he took over in the clutch. Cole Anthony won us that game. However, there were some negatives. I thought we struggled against Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is a wing with size, can get to his shot, has an elite mid-range, is an elite scorer, and we couldn't handle him for a lot of the time. Obviously, he does have the size over guys like AJ Green, Gary Trent, and he did exploit it, but matchups like Brandon Ingram are going to be the Milwaukee Bucks' worst matchup. And onto another negative point, I thought Bobby Portis was really poor once again. Every time Bobby Portis was on the court, Toronto were putting him in every action, blew by him and got easy shots. Not good enough once again from Bobby Portis, but I thought everybody else played really well. Even Kyle Kuzma, Taurean Prince, they were making their shots, they played well, they played with energy. And once again, the poor performer of this game was only Bobby Portis. The next game I'm going to be talking about is the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. So before the game, the Bucks were short-handed. They were missing Cole Anthony, Kevin Porter Jr., as well as Kyle Kuzma. And I thought that affected the game because I thought somebody like Kyle Kuzma, he can offer the size to disrupt Donovan Mitchell a little bit. He could be a very switchable defender, especially on guys like Mobley as well, and could have slowed them down, to be honest, because defensively, he has been tremendous this season. And losing KPJ and Cole Anthony, you lose scorers, you lose half-court scoring, facilitating, you lose a lot with both of them. But at the same time, Cleveland, they were also short-handed, missing Max Strus and Darius Garland. And initially, it was a very back and forth game. I thought both teams were playing really hard. They were making tough shots. I thought it was good basketball. However, once the starting unit got taken out and once Bobby Portis checked in, the Milwaukee Bucks momentum got ruined because Cleveland, they're a smart team. All they did was put Bobby Portis in every single action and they scored every single time. And this makes me go on to another point I want to make. Doc Rivers' rotations have to be a lot better and he needs to play the right personnel. For example, when you play Bobby Portis on the floor, you have to play a zone because Bobby Portis as a drop coverage defender, as a switchable defender, he's not good enough. He does not try on defense, very low effort, he doesn't move well. Laterally, he's not athletic, like he's just not a good defender and he's really ruined the Milwaukee Bucks momentum in a lot of games. So Doc really needs to get his rotations on point. And another thing I want to say is that he sits out Giannis Antetokounmpo for way too long, especially I believe near the end of the first quarter to the majority of the second quarter. Giannis sits out and he loses all his rhythm and momentum, and this is something that needs to be fixed. Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to play more minutes. And look, due to the fact that Doc made some really bad rotations, the Cavs took a massive lead, right? I think they were up by 12, 14, something of that nature. But the Bucks did really well to come back in the third quarter. And I just want to give big credit to Giannis Antetokounmpo. This man dropped 40, 14 and 9 and he just looked so complete this game. Jarrett Allen or Evan Mobley, they could not slow him down. The facilitating was great. He was getting rebounds. It was one of the most complete games I've seen Giannis play in quite a long while, to be fair. He's been really good this season. However, The Bucks did so much hard work to come back into the game in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, the Bucks threw all of their hard work away. Early on in the fourth quarter, the Bucks made 2 careless turnovers. There was another possession where AJ Green could have got a shot up and turned the ball over. There were just so many lapses in concentration, and this should have been a game that the Milwaukee Bucks should have won. The Bucks gave this win away to Cleveland. And to make my final point, I thought Giannis and AJ Green, they were the standout performers this game. They played really well. I thought Miles Turner defensively had some really good moments, but offensively he wasn't there yet. But yeah, all in all, Cleveland, they are a contender in the East, a strong contender. They were the best team in the East, to be fair to them. And I thought the Milwaukee Bucks were right there in that game. They made it really competitive. And in my opinion, the Bucks really should have won this game. If they did not make some stupid and careless mistakes, this is a very winnable game. So encouraging signs, but it still sucks to lose. I hate when this team tries to take moral victories, right? Like, I understand moral victories, they can be a good thing, but you can't keep taking moral victories because then that will become a habit and you'll be happy with it. This team needs to win big games, and Cleveland, it would have been a good game to win. Next up is the Milwaukee Bucks versus the New York Knicks, and this game has a lot of juice to it because in the NBA offseason, Shams constantly kept saying that New York, they wanted Giannis and Giannis wanted New York. So this game had a little bit more juice to it. It had a lot of storylines coming into it, so it was going to be a really intriguing game to watch. So for this game, I thought the first quarter was very competitive. I thought both teams were in it. And one guy I want to give a huge shout out to is Ryan Rollins. I mean, offensively, this guy kept us in the game, hit some really big threes, especially early on in the game. He hit like 2 early threes that really let the Bucks play freely. It put the pressure off the Bucks and it really kept the Bucks in the game. So Ryan Rollins was brilliant offensively, but defensively, the way he was pressuring Jalen Brunson, forcing turnovers, he was just a pest on the defensive end, and he did an unbelievable job on Jalen Brunson. So Ryan Rollins, for me, this has been his breakout game of the season. He scored 25 points, I believe. He was incredible defensively, slowed down Jalen Brunson. Just a really complete performance on his end and just a really good game. In my opinion, Giannis started this game off very slowly because New York, their defense was tremendous. They showed no gaps, they were helping, they showed bodies on Giannis. But then Giannis made a great adjustment. He started playing more off ball. And this is the version of Giannis I like to see. When there's adversity, don't try and force the issue. Think, how can I impact this game? Don't try and bulldoze through 5-6 players. No, think about how you're going to solve this issue. And that's what I liked about Giannis. He started playing a more off-ball role. However, the Milwaukee Bucks second quarter was just absolutely horrible to watch. The defensive rotations were not good enough. New York got everything they wanted defensively. Open threes, open layups. It was just horrible. And I think New York scored over 40 points this quarter. So it wasn't good enough. However, in the second half of the game, the Milwaukee Bucks, they stayed in there and did a great job of coming back and winning the game. And there's 2 things I want to point out to. I thought Giannis in the second half was just tremendous. I mean, his motor, work rate, grabbing rebounds from the defensive and offensive end. He was just a beast this second half and nobody can stop him. He dunked over Anunoby a couple of times on the fast break. Nobody could stop him. Just an absolutely dominant performance from Giannis, especially in that second half. And another guy I want to give a huge shout out to is Kyle Kuzma. Karl Anthony Towns, I think he only finished with 2 or 4 points. Karl Anthony Towns was completely non-existent that game. And Kuzma played some tremendous defense on him, denying him the ball, playing physical, forcing him into tough shots. I thought Kyle Kuzma was absolutely insane from the defensive end. And this has been a common theme for Kyle Kuzma. He's been really good for the Milwaukee Bucks defensively. And at this point, the Milwaukee Bucks, they've been on a very tough run of games. If you really think about it, they've played the Cavaliers and the New York Knicks, who are very strong contenders in the Eastern Conference. And now they have to play the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference. And this has been a really tough stretch of games. And another piece of unfortunate news that came out was the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo was out for this Golden State game due to the fact that he had knee soreness. And this was due to the fact that him and Mikal Bridges in the New York game, they collided and it injured Giannis' knee a bit, I believe. So he was out. So this game, from a Bucks fan's perspective, it was a write-off. You don't have your best player. Golden State are healthy. They're a strong team. They have good momentum right now. This was an impossible game to win. Normally, when I talk about the team's performance, I talk about the whole team. However, in this game, Ryan Rollins single-handedly won the Milwaukee Bucks that game. What a performance. One of the most complete performances I've seen from any NBA player this season. First of all, let's talk about his defense on Steph Curry. He was physical, pressing him full court, great screen navigation, great hands. He was a pest on Steph Curry. And now this is a couple of games in a row where Ryan Rollins has done an excellent job on two of the best guards in the NBA in Steph Curry and Jalen Brunson. Elite defense from him. And his rim pressure, it's so underrated. The way he attacks the rim, he's so aggressive. Great quick step, great footwork, and his finishing around the rim is so elite for his size and for his position. He's got great touch. He's very creative with his finishing. Just a really unique aspect about his game, especially from a guard's perspective. He's so good at getting downhill and he finishes with the best of them. He's hyper efficient at the rim, and this is a great quality to have in this squad. His three-point shooting, he started off slow this year, but he went 4 for 4 against the New York Knicks, and I think he went 5 for 7 against Golden State. His three-point shooting was on full display today, off the catch, off the dribble. There was one move where he did on Jimmy Butler where he did a little step back from deep and he just splashed it right on Jimmy Butler's face. He also did it to Al Horford twice as well, one in a three-point shot and one in a mid-range shot. And I also want to talk about his mid-range. He looks very comfortable in that mid-range, man. He gets to his spot, he's got good footwork, he rises and he splashes it. This kid's got everything to his game. I can't even think of a weakness to Ryan Rollins' game. He's athletic, he's strong, he can score in every single way, he can defend at a high level. And I also want to talk about his decision making. I thought he was very good with the ball. He was playmaking a lot, high IQ plays. There was one instance in the clutch where he got blitzed by the Warriors defense, played it to Miles Turner. Miles Turner hit the three. Just really good playmaking, great driving kicks, just a really complete performance as I previously said. And the final point I want to talk about Ryan Rollins is his clutchness. This kid was not afraid of the moment and he took over the game in the fourth quarter. And Steph Curry, he was killing in the fourth quarter as well. But every time Steph Curry made a shot, Ryan Rollins came right back and made a clutch shot. Tremendous from Ryan Rollins. And you look at the media, everybody was talking about this kid, how he can become a second option, how complete he is, how good of a basketball player he is. I'm just so happy for Ryan Rollins, man. This guy deserves it. He's been working really hard. His performances this season have been incredible, especially the last two games. And he deserves all the credit in the world. I remember watching him for the first time against the Toronto Raptors. That was his first start and he was incredible. You saw flashes, his ability to play defense, ability to get steals, to hit threes, rim pressure. Everything was there, but now he's more confident. He's got more faith in himself, more belief, and we're seeing his full ability right now. And it's been an absolute pleasure to watch. So normally when I talk about the performance, I talk about the team, and I want to give credit to the team. I thought everybody did a great job. I think the Bucks had 8-9 players with over 10 points. The ball was moving. Some really good basketball was being played. And I thought defensively, the Milwaukee Bucks were tremendous against Golden State. So this was really a team performance, but I only wanted to talk about Ryan Rollins because this guy was just incredible against Golden State. And clearly he had a chip on his shoulder, right? Because Golden State, they let go of Ryan Rollins. And this was really a vengeance game. So I'm so happy for Ryan Rollins. He deserves this. He's been incredible for the Milwaukee Bucks. And hopefully this can continue. The Bucks were on a roll at this point. Great momentum, great vibes, great energy. And Kevin Porter Jr., he's on the verge of returning. However, some unfortunate news hit. Unfortunately, Kevin Porter Jr. suffered a knee meniscus tear which requires orthopedic surgery, I believe, and this means that he's sidelined for 4 weeks. Look, it could have been a lot worse. It's a partial tear. He's going to be out for a month. He's going to return by December. It's going to be well before All-Star break. So Kevin Porter Jr., he's still going to get enough reps for the season. He's still a key part of this Milwaukee Bucks team. And it's just really disappointing, man, because this year, and I still do believe Kevin Porter Jr. is going to perform incredibly this year. But this year, I wish this guy was fully healthy because I truly believe he has the ability to play at an all-star level. And we saw in the Washington Wizards game how he was playing. He was facilitating, he was scoring at will. He had such a great start to the season. and then he suffers the ankle sprain and now the knee meniscus tear. It's been really unfortunate for Kevin Porter Jr. Prayers for a speedy recovery, and he's going to be back. I know it. He's going to play a big role for this team, and all you can do is just pray for a speedy recovery. This kid's been a sensation ever since he stepped foot into the Milwaukee Bucks, and you just want to see him thrive. So, speedy recovery, Kevin Porter Jr. Barring the unfortunate Kevin Porter Jr. news, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're in a great position at this moment of time, and they're playing the Sacramento Kings next, and Giannis was available for this game. On to the performance. I want to talk about the first quarter. Offensively, the Milwaukee Bucks were ridiculous in the first quarter. I think they scored 47 points. The ball was moving. The shooters were shooting. Giannis was just seeing the whole floor. This was just such a beautiful performance in the first quarter. However, the Milwaukee Bucks let themselves down. They let the Sacramento Kings come back into this game, and there was a multitude of reasons. The Bucks were fouling, so the Sacramento Kings were getting to the free throw line. Bobby Portis, he made a stupid decision by riling up Sabonis, gave them a technical free throw. That shifted the momentum. Defensively, I thought the Milwaukee Bucks were very lackluster, and due to all of these different factors, the Sacramento Kings, they came back into this game. And once again, the starting unit, they performed incredibly well and they were blowing out the Sacramento Kings. But once the second unit came in, especially Bobby Portis, and I don't want to criticize a player too much, but when you're not playing with enough effort, when you're being lazy, when you're taking bad shots, when you're slowing down the offense, I am going to be on your case. Not good enough defensively. There was one possession where he just let Dennis Schroeder blow right past him for an open layup. That is unacceptable. And once again, Sacramento Kings put Bobby Portis in every action and they were scoring at will. And they came back into this game. However, there were some other problems as well. The thing about the Bucks that I'm most worried about is their lack of size on the perimeter, and that's one issue that I've addressed at the start of the season, even before the season started. Against bigger guards and wings such as DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, the Bucks are going to struggle because the Bucks don't have enough length on them. We had Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent, and AJ Green. They're not big enough to guard these big wings or big guards, and the Bucks struggled. I think Zach LaVine played really well, and DeMar DeRozan also played really well. And in terms of the overall performance from the team, I thought it was a subpar performance from everybody apart from Kyle Kuzma and Ryan Rollins. Kyle Kuzma, once again, defensively, just really good. And offensively, he was tremendous. I think he scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. He kept the Milwaukee Bucks in that game. So big credit to Kyle Kuzma. He's really bought into his role and really good performance from him. And I thought Ryan Rollins, he kept going with his tremendous performances this season, especially attacking the rim. Did a really good job on Dennis Schroeder defensively. This kid's special, man. And one player I want to talk about is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And for the majority of the season so far, which has been 6 games, I believe, this guy has looked like the second coming of Jesus Christ. That's how good he's looked. However, for the first time, Giannis Antetokounmpo has looked human. Could you make excuses for him? For sure. You can say that he was out for a game, he was injured and things of that nature. But I thought Sacramento, they did a good job of guarding Giannis. They were, making him earn his points by fouling him, trying to get him to the free throw line. Sabonis, I thought, did a good job on him. They showed help. They never left any gaps. But Giannis Antetokounmpo still got 26, 11 and 9, which is ridiculous, right? When you think about a subpar performance for Giannis, it's 26, 11 and 9. It's just insane how high this guy's standards is. Like, if it's any other player in the NBA, that's a great performance. But for Giannis Antetokounmpo and the way he's been performing this season, that's a subpar performance. So, once again, I don't want to take this guy's greatness for granted, man. He's just ridiculous as a basketball player. And the final point I want to make is that the refs were absolutely horrible. And I don't want to blame the refs for this, because the Milwaukee Bucks, they should have blown out the Sacramento Kings team. They did not show enough effort, enough work rate, enough defense. And that's the reason why they lost. But Sacramento getting 40 free throws is an absolute disgrace. And the amount of unnecessary technicals that the Milwaukee Bucks got was just outrageous. The Sacramento Kings were getting phantom calls. They were getting technical fouls on the Milwaukee Bucks. It just didn't make any sense. It felt like the refs had some betting scheme going on in this game. They wanted the Bucks to lose because some of the fouls were so questionable. There was a crazy stat in the fourth quarter for the last 3 minutes 56 seconds. Sacramento, they did not make a single field goal. They literally were scoring points based on free throws. It was some of the worst officiating I saw. But that's not the reason why the Milwaukee Bucks lost. The reason why they lost is because they did not play good enough defense. They did not show enough work rate, commitment. Doc Rivers' rotations were not good enough today. That's the reason why the Bucks lost. And yeah, it's a very frustrating loss because the Bucks, they should be beating a team like this. But fair play to the Sacramento Kings. They fought back, they showed heart, and they won this game. But a really, really poor and embarrassing loss for the Bucks. They really should be winning this game. And to finish off the video, here are some of my key points about the Milwaukee Bucks for the first 2 weeks. Let's start off with the obvious. The Bucks are 4-2, and all in all, I'm happy with this record. The Bucks, they've had a relatively hard schedule. They've played some really good teams, and I understand in the heat of the moment, losing to Sacramento, it does hurt because it's a game that we really should be winning. But based on what people were thinking about the Milwaukee Bucks before the season, 4-2 is a very solid start. I also want to talk about the guard play. The guard play for the Milwaukee Bucks has been absolutely incredible. Going from Ryan Rollins, breakout season from him this year, really good. Cole Anthony, whenever he's played, he looks really good. And even Kevin Porter Jr., for those first couple of minutes against the Washington Wizards, he looked terrific as well. And one guy I want to give a big shout out to is Rajon Rondo. I think Rondo's influence is all over the guards. Their decision making, their poise, their composure, it's seen on full display. And every guard they've improved this season. Cole Anthony has looked really good off that second unit in terms of making reads, playmaking, finishing at the rim, applying rim pressure, just doing a bit of everything for this team, as well as Ryan Rollins, obviously. He's been so good for the Milwaukee Bucks defensively and offensively, and hopefully KPJ, obviously he's injured right now, which is really sad and unfortunate, but he's going to come back and he's going to perform at a high level as well. So the Milwaukee Bucks, they're in a very good situation in terms of their guard play. There's a lot of impactful guards that they have. I also want to talk about the obvious Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's been an absolute beast this year. I think he's averaging 34, 14 and 7. Numbers like that. I mean, these are historic numbers. This guy finds a way to improve every single season, and we just have to enjoy his greatness. I mean, it's such an honor and a pleasure to witness this guy's greatness, on a weekly basis. It's just unprecedented how good he is, and he just somehow manages to keep improving season after season as well. A generational player, and if there's a season Giannis is going to win MVP, this is the one for sure. I think he can definitely win MVP this year, and he's my favourite for the MVP. I also want to talk further about Ryan Rollins, his rim pressure, his finishing around the rim, his shot making, shot creating, his defense. It's been a really complete season from him so far. The kid's got no weakness to his game. He can do everything at a really high level, and he's definitely a contender for most improved, and he can definitely make a sneaky push for an all-star selection. I truly believe this. If he keeps this level of play up, he definitely can be a shout for all-star, which is crazy to say. And in terms of the Bucks style of play, it's been really refreshing. You have to give credit to Doc Rivers. He's completely changed the style of the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are playing a lot more faster, quick ball movement, generating a lot more threes. They have a lot more drivers and finishes at the rim this year. It's been a really enjoyable brand of basketball to watch. And as a result of this, the Bucks have been competitive every single game that they have played, no matter what the competition is. They've been competitive. There's not been one single blowout. Whereas last season, the Bucks were getting blown out at least once or twice every week. So it's been really refreshing to see the Bucks play in these competitive games, even against really good competition. So yeah, this new style of play, it's been very revolutionary for the Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah, really refreshing to see. However, there are some negatives. The Bucks are 4-2. They're not 6-0. And there have been some negative aspects about the Milwaukee Bucks this season. First of all, the Bucks really struggle to blow out teams. You look at the Sacramento game yesterday. The Bucks had like a 15-point lead. If you have a 15-point lead, you have to kill the game off and blow the team out. And the Bucks couldn't do that. And the Bucks also struggle against bigger wings. You saw Brandon Ingram. He gave us work. Zach LaVine gave us work. DeMar DeRozan gave us work. These bigger wings who can score, they give us a lot of problems because the Bucks don't have enough size on the perimeter. And look, I give credit where credit is due. Doc has been coaching well this season, but his rotations have been absolutely abysmal. How long are you going to take Giannis Antetokounmpo out of games? He is the best player in the world, and you're taking him out of games for extended period of times, and you're costing us games at times. He needs to fix the rotations, and some of the key issues that I was talking about before the season, they're quite evident so far this season. I don't think the Bucks have a true second option. When I say this, a guy who can create for himself in the clutch, a guy you can trust like a Chris Middleton. Hopefully the Bucks can buy him out, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how the Bucks are going to get this second option. I think the more realistic trade is to get a bigger 3-and-D wing, because another aspect of the Milwaukee Bucks that is lacking is that size on the perimeter. The Bucks sorely need this. We've seen this so far this season, and that should be a priority. And one thing I love about this team is that everybody's brought into their roles. Like last season, it was so weird because nobody really knew what their role was, but every single player, Giannis being the superstar, Ryan Rollins being that second option at times, picking up full court, being a defensive menace, Cole Anthony leading the second unit, being a defensive menace, making the hustle plays, Kuzma being a defensive stopper, AJ Green, Gary Trent playing defense, moving the ball, hitting threes, Miles Turner being the defensive anchor, Taurean Prince hitting threes off the bench, driving with the ball. Everybody's really brought into their role, and this team is deep. It's a 12 to 13 man roster who can really play basketball. So one thing this Bucks team does really well is allow everybody to contribute and everybody to get their points, and this is going to be massive in the regular season, because the one thing you need in the regular season is depth and a bunch of good basketball players, and that's exactly what the Bucks have. However, I know I've been bashing this guy this whole video, and I don't like doing this, but Bobby Portis has been the only poor performer so far this season, and I don't want to single out Bobby because Bobby has helped us win a championship. He has had some great performances, but the one thing that I don't like seeing from Bobby Portis is the lack of effort. It's a lack of effort that I hate seeing. He's not trying on defense. He's not showing any heart. He's not showing any commitment. And it's holding the team back. Whenever he checks into the game, the opposing team, they get 3 points. I'm not sure what is supposed to be done about this, because defensively he's holding the Bucks back, and even offensively he doesn't fit the Milwaukee Bucks system anymore. The Bucks want to play fast. The Bucks want to generate threes. The Bucks want the ball to be moving quickly, whereas Bobby Portis, he stops the ball. He stagnates the offense. So it's a very weird situation, but I'm not going to lie, Bobby, he does have his good characteristics. As a pick and pop big and as a shooter, I don't mind him at all. He's a good rebounder as well. But stick to those things. Don't try and post up every single time. Play defense with effort. Do the little things. So yeah, I mean, that's honestly been the real negative this season for the Bucks. I'm not sure how they're going to address this. But that brings us to the end of the video. What do you guys think about the Milwaukee Bucks so far this season? Like, share, comment, subscribe, and peace.